Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm JT. Tonight we have the Pagnian Advanced Simulation Supercars Championship. We are up to round 8 tonight, and that will be seeing us at Sonoma Raceway NASCAR Short. Upcoming, we've got 10 minutes of practice, 10 minutes of qualifying, a 40-minute race. Weather is generated, time of day is afternoon, and there's a 47% cap on fuel, so they will need to come in for a stop to finish out the race. Our series championship leader is Tim Mulford, continuing that lead after round 7. And then we've got Anthony Visma in P2 and Mick Clifton in P3. Last week for round 7 we're at Red Bull Ring GP, and it was Anthony Visma that ended up taking pole position, taking the race win, and our series leader Tim Mulford securing the extra bonus points for the fastest lap of the race. And then since we are closing up towards the end of the series, this is the prize that all the drivers are contesting for. And Tim Mulford charging through to try and claim the first Apex eSports League trophy and be able to have his name engraved onto that. So all the best to our drivers competing for the trophy. And we'll take a look at the track. And it's 3.2 kilometers around Sonoma Raceway NASCAR Short. There has been a bit of a track naming change coming into this season. And currently there's 23 degrees temperature. It's partly cloudy and there is some winds, but humidity is only at 49%, so it's going to be looking to be some pretty good conditions to start off with in the race. And we'll cross over and see how our drivers are going. And welcome aboard, Ryan, joining me in the commentary box again.
Thanks very much for having me. It's always good to come along here on a Monday night, see some action.
Yeah,
already I'm seeing people flying off everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to be definitely seeing some good ones today at a tricky track like Sonoma.
I know what you think. Well, I know how. Hang on, let me English for a second. I know you know what I think of track limits, how they should be defined by a concrete barrier or a piece of grass. This has all of that, I love it, but I think track limits are still going to play a big part in it with the amount of people I'm already seeing running way off into the dirt.
Yeah, it's easy to catch off guard, especially with those crests and blind corners. If you don't get that line perfectly, you're going to be straight out into the dirt, potentially a wall. It's going to make for some great racing to see.
No, it's not even the blind corners as the factor, it's more so most of the tricky corners is the apex is right on the top of a hill and then it drops off and goes dramatically downhill, so you could have the wheel pointed to where you actually want to go on the track, but it's not going to take you there. There's no grip because you've just jumped over a hill. So that's the problem that I faced when I was trying to drive these. I can't do it for the life of me in these cars. Definitely a cool track. I love it. It reminds me of Lakeside. It's a bit of a cross between Bathurst, Lakeside and Phillip Island. I think it's great. And Sandown. Sandown's another one that I think of when I drive around it. But, geez, it's hard in these cars.
There we go. The chat. Gallon, good evening, Gallon. And JJ Penguin. Now we've got 16 registered at the moment. We've only a couple of minutes left to the open practice. As they're getting their times on the board, we'll see that tower light up with some more names. Okay, Alan, only good thing with this track was that it's a drag strip.
I got to disagree with you there. I love this track, just not in these cars.
I do. I've had some good fun in the 86s around here. It's a little beast of a thing to throw around, but the high-powered torque in these things means there's extra trouble to get into.
Speaking of 86s, have you driven them around the Nürburgring by any chance?
No, I haven't given it a go for that.
I'm in my own sim team, like not a serious sim team, it's just one where we can sort of just enter endurance races and have a good old muck about, have a bit of fun. But a couple of them tried to do the Nürburgring, I think it was the 24 or an A24, it might not have been, I could be wrong, but they were doing it in an 86. I thought, that's the most boring car that you could ever take to Nürburgring, because most of the track in that car will be flat out. You might have to lift for a couple of corners. But I think the fast guy is, average lap times are in the 9 minutes, and the slow guy he just kept crashing, so his average lap time was 15.
It would be a fun one. It's got to have to be on my list, I think. Do you like to
But
see what I
compared to
can
a
drive around?
GT3 car that does 6-minute lap times, 5-minute lap times. Not 5 minute, definitely not 5 minute, but it'll be in the high 6-minute lap times. It'll be pretty. It'll make you fall asleep. I can't drive them at Bathurst because it makes me fall asleep. I just lose concentration because I start thinking about other things. That's what I like about Sonoma, is you've got no time to fall asleep. You've constantly got to be thinking about positioning for the next corner, otherwise you're going to be in the barriers or the dirt.
Gallon contemplating joining the session, wondering if Steph will get angry if he joined. I don't think so. She'll stir you up about it, but she'd be more than happy to see you on track. Run out into that garage and jump on the sim.
Practice is over, so you've only got a couple of minutes to get a qualifying lap in, but I definitely recommend joining it. Looks like a Peter.
I think track limits may have been a pretty big drama for him in that practice session, with not all the drivers getting a lot of timed laps in there. So it's going to make qualifying rather interesting.
It looks like we got most of our front runners in it. Yeah, it looks like we got all of our front runners in the session. We've got Peter van der Kraan, Matthew Scholes, and going down we got Anthony Visma, Tim Mulford, Ricky Hyde, the consistent top 5 runners. Got all of them in the session trying to duke it out for the championship, so that's always good to see. I know Ricky Hyde was. Maybe it wasn't Ricky. Was it Ricky Hyde that was saying he wasn't looking forward to this race last week in the chat? In the post-race interview? No, it wasn't, because he didn't make the podium.
No.
It was.
Yeah,
one of them.
Tim and I can't even think to myself. Van der Kraan, I think it was.
It was the right foot breaker. I can tell you that.
That's it.
I feel like it was Visma. I'm just getting a hunch it was Visma, but don't quote me on that.
And if it is his kryptonite track as well, could do alright for the series lead. Actually, it's Tim that doesn't have a good round here. Visma chasing in P2. There's a big opportunity for him to actually close in those points, especially with another round to come before the final. Could bring in a very close finish for the series. Should see some first time laps coming soon. Sorry, the was Visma that came P1, Harry Dodds P2, and Tim Mulford was P3.
I'm not sure if it was Visma or Dodds.
There's first time lap 1:13 from Van der Kraan.
And 1:12.8 from Visma.
Straight into it.
Already much quicker than what I can do.
Yeah, a lot of first times coming in. It's pretty tight. Some of the first 7 laps. Sorry, not 7 times, not laps.
Oh yeah, definitely with us. Just over a second, topping off the top 7. Yeah, top 7. Ricky Hyde's first lap was a 13.9. He's another one of our top scorers. They're always trying to chase the podium, or at least getting close to it. Always a charge.
I think that may have been just after completing the lap. I'm not sure.
Green here saying that Stephanie Piccoli and I missed the other one. They were yellow. It was showing up yellow on my leaderboard, so they're having a little bit of an off. Didn't quite see what happened there.
There's a few off tracks coming through, isn't it? New ones out there as well. Still only 16 registered. Business have got about half a lap before it's coming through, and then we'll jump on board for a hot lap around. We might jump on with Aiden Cowell. She's coming up for a lap.
Hang on, what number is it? 762. Down the bottom there. So it's in here that I couldn't quite figure out because I was trying to hold it flat around here when I was trying to do it and try and brake as low as I could. Apparently that's not super fast. I see everyone else on telemetry lifting through there. I just couldn't figure it out. But you got to brake just as you get into the gully there, as it drops off you, just tap the brakes. Some people smack down a gear to try and get it to turn in, but it doesn't look like Aiden has. He takes it down a gear for this curve here, smashes it, goes to the exit of the curbing. Then he goes right close to the wall, smacks it down 2 gears here, try and get it to turn in. Just nick the curb there. You don't want to hit it because it'll send you launching on 2 wheels and then you wouldn't be able to get the power down. You hit both these curbs here and then jump on the brakes at the end of the blue and white curbing before it goes to the white. Hit all the curbs through here, blow it out to the outside edge of the track. But you're going over the hill again, so you've got no grip, so you've just got to try and point it straight, hold it flat, and pray that you make it. Down another gear here, again, flow it to the edge of the track there, and then you brake just as the car compresses on the dip there. Turn it in, is he first or second? He's second. And try and get it flat on the floor as quick as you can without inducing wheel spin. So the trickiest thing you can do is not get wheel spin.
A hot lap courtesy of Aiden Cale.
That was the 13.1.17. So that puts him into third. That wasn't his last lap though. What was his last lap? That 13.1.176 it says his last lap was still on my screen. So maybe that was. It
yeah,
just
13.18 I'm seeing as last.
I'm just confused by my leaderboard.
Very nice lap time. Visma still holding pole with the 112.8. He's on an out lap at the moment as well. Just reached 7 minutes, 3 to go. So I'm going to be a couple of laps left in it.
We've got 2 drivers in the 112 marks.
Yeah, Nash just pulled through in to P2, Mulford's P3, Vanderkram 4, and Cale bumped down to P5. Oh no, he takes it back, P2. That was a 112.89.
I'm noticing Harry Dodge is actually in this race.
No, maybe it was him that was mentioning it's not his, not his track
It's
for it. Buckland overshoots. There's not too many drivers still out on track. They're going to be pushing it for another lap time out there. Ooh, I just heard a car completely destroyed. Sounded like a blown engine. Not sure if that was contact that did it. I think it might have been
Vanderkram just showed up on my leaderboard as yellow, so maybe he was involved? Question mark? I'm not sure. We've got David Nash coming out for another fly. He just did a really cruisy out lap. He's going for another one. Try and get a little bit better than what he's got.
$15 cars on there. We've got an extra. There's Gal. He's joined in. We have time for a lap. You have to do a pit. Yeah, he's out on track. I'll say my count here. Got an extra car. Well done, Gal. Practicing a pit entry though.
Maybe he just figured he didn't have enough time to actually set a timed lap.
Yeah. Qualifying positions here is looking interesting for our leader Mulford and P2 for Visma. So we're getting championship points for qualifying. There's a couple of cars in between.
Visma, fun fact for you, has actually got the most poles of anyone this season. Everyone else, including Connor Nixon, Tim Mulford, Urquhart and Scholes, they've all got one pole between them, but Visma's got 3 of them, so it seems to be very good in qualifying across these first 7 rounds.
And also
And it looks like he's about to make it
fastest laps of the race as well. Has usually gone to Visma. He's just been... He ran into some pretty bad luck. After about round 2, it started to drop off for a few rounds. We had technical issues. I think there was a disconnect and then got caught up in some incidents from other cars.
But even in saying that, he's still got 4 podiums from the 7 races so far, so...
That's it.
I mean, the only person who's beating him in terms of podiums, Tim Mulford. But he's tied with Nixon with his amount of wins.
Steph's in the stream. That John Gallen far out. If you read through the chat history, Steph, he was asking if you might be upset if you joined. For your little bet you had for the championship.
Now we've got 5 drivers within the 112 bracket.
Yes, 6.4 gap between 16 drivers.
Definitely not bad at all, is it?
And that's with John Gallen not being able to get a time in as well. So it'll be rear grid for him for the start. Like with his late join last time, but they end up powering through pretty good. And it actually booted everyone across for our qualifying. So we'll take a look at those qualifying results now.
Gallen's gone. Just seeing a thing pop up saying he's manually disconnected.
Not allowed to race. That's right. Well, our qualifying results for round 8, we've got Anthony Visma on pole position, and then in P2 onwards, we've got Aidan Cale, David Nash, Peter Vanderkrant, Tim Mulford, Mick Clifton, Matthew Scholes, Ricky Hyde, Andrew Rushworth, Shane Newens, Brad Hayes, Stephen Luckhurst, Russell Gander, Stephanie Piccoli, Tony Phillips, Phil Buckland, and then John Gallen.
Now the nervous wait for everyone to grid up for the lights to start going out. Wait for Bernie to drop the green flag.
You didn't stay on track, Gal. We saw you for that lap.
Stop teasing us, mate. Jump back in. Making an even 17 for us. We miss you. Still waiting for a few people to grid.
Get a lot of the best camera angles for race start here.
Like, we're waiting on one more person by the looks.
Yeah, Tony Phillips' group, and there he goes.
Oh, the revs are on.
Green.
The green flag
Oh,
drive.
no, he's locked up. He stalled it.
He's been hit. Oh. He's got it going
Unfortunate.
again.
Hopefully not too much damage from the hit. Not sure who it was that might have clipped it. I think it was that Scholes that might have tagged him. I think it was a blue car.
He's still going at the moment, so he might be alright. He's 6.7 seconds from the lead, so... And he's just taken another spot back from Philip Buckland, so he's still doing okay, but still going too wide at the front. Out from the hairpin. Oh, this is normally a one-line section through here. It's a little bit of contact. Oh,
yeah,
he tags him.
Dropped the pace from it. What an exciting opening to it.
He just, he's off. Peter Van Kran's off the track again. Just can't get his pace back in. He's got to just settle into a rhythm. He just keeps going for passes. Comes to a point where patience has to come into it as well.
And this has paid off well for Aiden Kale though. He's starting to put a gap over Nash. Nash was sitting right on his tail, almost a little bit of a bump a few times, but he's not able to hang on now. And then
I wonder if they got much
4
difference in
seconds
setup.
away to P3.
In fairness, I would have backed up with the two running into each other as well. They were the original leaders, I think, were they? Well, not the original leaders, but they were leading at the time of their praying. Maybe, I could be wrong. What happened at the start? It's hard to keep track of everything.
There's a lot going on.
Tony Phillips has been disconnected. He's dropped out
Oh no.
due to packet loss. Like everyone seemed to have calmed down at least a little bit. The heart rate is still probably up there, but
Yeah, adrenaline will be going for a couple more laps after that. There's a fair bit going on around. And Kale's extending that gap. He's teetering at a second now. Oh, that's going to increase some more. There's a little bit of unsettled there for Nash. Is he going to be able to hold on?
It's 9-10 for mine. Not doing too bad at all, to be completely honest with you. We've got Vismer, who's starting to charge back up through the field. He's up to 10th now from the back after his stall, so that's definitely a good thing. Try and keep his championship hopes alive. Oh, slide for the 351 of Andrew Rushworth. Not Andrew Rushworth, sorry, I got that wrong. Mark Clifton. Mick Clifton.
Mick Clifton. Clifton and Rushworth usually have some good battles with each other too. Oh, some net code.
Ricky Hart just looped it. Such a shame, took Rushworth out of that battle with Clifton. That was sure, definitely shame.
Almost looked like it was having a contact reaction, or can't quite pick whether it was a spin. Some bad timing there for them. Hey, Mark. Thanks for jumping in.
Why aren't you racing tonight, Mark? 215 in very deep into the hairpin down there.
So
With Shane
Anders
Newlands.
starting to look to stick the nose in on Rushworth then. Rushworth eager to get away. I wonder if there's any damage. Could be potentially affecting speed for the car. He's going to have to hold on for a while to be able to get that pit window.
It's only a front end pit, I believe, and it wasn't super heavy because it was the slowest corner of the track in the bottom hairpin before the... There's no name for it, so I'm just going to call it the isn't straight. because it isn't straight, but you're flat out through it. Maybe he just cooked his tyres a little bit. May have locked up trying to avoid, but I mean, still looks relatively clean on nice green. Pulled it out to 9/10 of a second just as we're talking about him, so he's doing alright, starting to claw back. Visma up to P7.
And he's only just got new wins in front of him, so he's probably going to be trying to charge through there. Well, especially now, the curb unsettled new ones, there'll be a bit of speed loss down that.
Yeah, definitely would. He doesn't seem to be very strong under brakes, I'm noticing, throughout this race. Newens, that is. Still, like, he's gone wide a fair bit at the bottom hairpin. So, maybe that's one of the places that Rushworth's looking. Although, he goes a little bit wide there and it looked like Rushworth was looking to stick up the inside for a second. That was kind of scary.
And track temperature is going to be playing a bit of havoc with him as well. 37 degrees currently.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be good on the tyres. Maybe we will see a bit of wear coming into it. We've got ambient temps 23, so that doesn't sound too bad. It's just the blaring sun that's making the temps rise. Got a bit of a battle unfolding between Vanderkraan and Lifton as well, as they all send it over the curves trying to avoid track limits. Don't think they actually got a track limit there either. No, maybe not. We've got Vanderkraan with 2 track limits, I believe. Or at least track incident points, that's the word I was looking for. Relatively clean start though. I mean, the highest incident points I'm seeing 3, and that's Philip Buckland.
Vanderkraan's starting the line up. He's got Visma. Oh, look at that. Goes for a quick pass at the hairpin through turn 12. Far out. Lined it up. Came out of nowhere. What a recovery. He's 6 positions down. A full complete stall.
Definitely charging hard, isn't it? Just look at the way the car's handling. It's hitting every curb he can find, straightening it up.
Lap times down in the 13s, which is why he's climbing through. Kale's doing quicker lap times out at the front at the moment. A 13.06 was his previous lap, and his best 12.99. So absolutely flying for that race lead. He's dropped Nash back now. 1.8 is the gap.
Goes a little bit wide there. Peter Vanderkraan loses. Oh, he's nudging Cliff as he tries to go down the inside. They both go wide, which opens the door for Visma to sneak up the inside.
Takes 2 positions from that. Thank you.
Well, I don't think Clifton would be quite happy with that manoeuvre.
Yeah, Clifton will be a bit upset with that. His teammate capitalised on the opportunity.
That puts Visma in the 5th place. So he's 14 seconds off the lead at the moment, but it looks like he's only 6 seconds off the car in front. The car of Matthew Scholes. Vanderkraan's just sliding around everywhere at the moment.
Pushing the car to its full extent in those hot conditions.
Got to be careful on how much you push though, because it overheats the tyres on these. It's just really hard to get the temperature back down. So you got to drop half a second to a second a lap just to try and get it to cool down and be drivable again. So just got to monitor that as well as you're pushing through. But in saying that, he's still gaining time back. He's 13.5 seconds now off the lead. It's definitely within reach.
Managed to pull away a little bit from Newlands. He had a much nicer line through the hairpin. Newlands has quickly caught up. It's amazing just how much you can cut that curve on that last hairpin.
Yeah, it's definitely off-putting. You think you're doing the right thing, like just going on, well, the right side of the left-hand side, I should say, of the yellow line, but you can go a bit further than that, I believe.
Yeah, they're dropping the wheel off out of the curving. So as long as I guess they got one tyre on within the yellow line, it must be within limits.
Yeah. Even on the, I want to call it turn 2, it's not quite turn 2, but it's the bend on the isn't straight as you jump on the brakes through there. You can get right over the runoff area on the inside there. You can get well inside that yellow line there as well as you're trying to slow it down, but most of the time, I mean, you drop 2 wheels in the grass, then you get it off track.
Do I get points
maybe
for
that is the rule.
P17? Qualifying points, yeah.
Maybe that is the rule, because this is a NASCAR track, and I know NASCAR don't like track limits either. So I know their big thing is just keep it on the track, but don't drop wheels off. So maybe that is by design. You can use as much of the track as you like, just don't use the grass.
Yeah, because it's got that, what we just saw there, car behind Buckle, I think it was Mulford. That runoff over on that curb, they get completely bypass and go off out onto the concrete runoff area. It's very much like that runoff area through turn 1 at Watkins Glen. You can take so much off track. Mulford's trying to get around Buckland here.
He makes the dive, does it easily in the braking zone. Have a look at that. Enough to actually pull back into the racing line and take the wide line through the corner.
Got through nice and quick in the end. He's trying to chase that gap to Nash. He's got 4 seconds to make up.
Looks like people's race pace isn't amazing for this track. Like, I know we're seeing 1:12.9 from Kale, but everyone's actually dropping off now. So maybe tyre wear is coming into it. Because we've got Kale that's done a 1:13.8. He's the only one. I say that. I was about to say he was the only one still in the 1:13s. That was a lie. Visma's still in the 1:13s with a 1:13.7 on the last lap. But everyone else, like we got Dave Nash, he's 1:14.1. Tim Mulford's 1:14.4. Matthew Scholes is 1:15.
So he's trying to extend that tyre life so they can try and not have to come in for that early pit. Try and leave some good green tyres for the cooler track conditions at the back end of the race. It started to drop down in temperature a bit. Not a lot, but it is on the decline now. So we should start getting into the slightly cooler temps as they come into the later afternoon time.
Still seeing a lot of people really wiggly under brakes, just trying to edge it out as much as they can and just maybe downshifting a little bit too soon, getting the locks a little bit, getting the rears locked and a little bit happy on the downshift. But just seems to be, or maybe it's just the fact that they're running the brakes by so much rearward to try and get it to turn through the super tricky corners going up and back down the hill. That's making them dance a little bit.
Gallon, to answer your question, track temperature's 36 degrees. It's currently clear conditions. It was forecast for partly cloudy.
Just had Kale run off into the dirt just there. It's only been on iRacing for 2 months, you reckon? How long's he been sim racing for, and what's he been on?
It's a bit of a whiz then on in a supercar.
Unless he does something in real life and sort of just picks it. No, even real life drivers can't pick up the sim that quickly.
No, it's not always exactly the same to what they're used to.
No, especially not these cars. Like I went to. Have you heard of Norwell Motorplex before? The sort of driving school that Paul Morris and Russell Engel ran for a bit. I don't know if Engel's still there, but Morris definitely still is. Down in southeast Queensland and near Ipswich, I think. Near the Gold Coast or somewhere there. But I went for it was like a Bathurst drive day when in COVID times, I think it was 2021, they pushed the 1000 back 2 months into December. Norwell just decided to put on a drive day in there on the time that Bathurst was supposed to be on and brought a couple of supercars drivers out, including Kostecki, Di Pasquale and Feeney. Feeney was there. That was the year before he went full time. But they were all saying how just these cars handle like shopping trolleys and how everything to do with them is different. Like they sound the same, they look the same, but that's where the similarities finish. Apparently they're, according to Scott Pye even, I watched him talk about it on stream, under brakes they're rubbish, under turn in they're rubbish, and under acceleration they're rubbish. So it's apparently not a very accurate rendition of these cars on iRacing compared to real life, but I mean hopefully the Gen 3 cars will be a little bit funner to drive. They'll be harder, but maybe funner.
We've got the first pits coming in, Charles and Clifton. And JJ said Aiden's also half the age of the field too. Some good young fella out there. Down the good pace.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google his name, see what comes up. Surely there's some.
It's going to be interesting just to see where they're going to come in. Charles and Clifton's earlier stop in play, but if they were contending with tyre wear, it may not bode well to have another 22 minutes odd on the tyres.
And the only thing I'm seeing for Aiden Cale is he's a road racing cyclist. So 19-year-old from Australia, when he was 17 at saying, this might not be our Aiden Cale, I'm going to make that disclaimer. It said he broke the world record cycling 283 k's in a pedal prix trike. And there's another Aiden Cale who plays soccer. Unsure, I'll leave it at that. So far we've only had 2 people come into the pits.
Ooh, Nash in.
Everyone else is still, as I say that.
Newlands and Luckhurst in the box as well.
But that puts Visma up to 3rd. And he's still doing times like for like with, as I watch, Visma take another position on track. That must have been that was 91 of Steph Piccoli. Back to what I was saying before. Last laps, Aiden Cale did a 13.9, but Visma did a 14.1, so he's still not that far off the pace. Maybe it's just being held up a little bit. As we see more cars come in, we've got 6.9 Brad Hayes and Matthew Scholes, by the looks of that, coming in.
Oh, Scholes in again. He's just came back in too.
Newland's going for a bit of a jump.
He's got a scrape. Wonder if he's some issues. Maybe he had a penalty he had to serve. Maybe unsafe pit exit. See what his clock shows in the box. Mulford moves into the lead with Cale coming into pit lane. Look at that, he's flat out into there. Nicely stopped on the box. Just cross over the Visma, up on 2 wheels. He's absolutely putting the boot down now. Vanderkran, Hyde. Pits now. No, only a 4.4 second stop for Scholes. So it's like he's had to come in and use a fast repair. Maybe he had some damage on that outlap.
He must have done.
Not detecting any contact or anything for the drivers. There's actually only 2 contacts in the race.
I'll have a bit of a rewind and that's a bit of a sneaky peek at it.
Visma and Mulford that have got the contact, and that's probably at the start of the race with the stalled car. Cale rejoins the race in P3. Visma's in P2. Series leader Tim Mulford in P1. They will need to come in for fuel.
He just did it on his own. He just looped it and smashed the tyre barrier down into turn 8A, I believe. So they can't. Americans just don't seem to have any common sense to me, because they, on ovals, they call them 2 corners for the one, but then on this track they've got turn 8 and then turn 8A, so they've made 2 corners one.
Yeah.
Stupid. But it was in the second turn 8 where it looked like he just dropped a wheel on the grass and he was coming back down and over the hill. Then it just got him loose and sent him into the tyre barriers.
Well, it's a little loose. Rushworth as he releases the pit limiter. It's almost a flick around.
So far we've had all but 3 drivers by the looks going to the pits. We've got Mulford and Visma, who are the top 2 at the moment. Visma's 2.6 seconds off Mulford, but they haven't pitted yet. And yeah, Gander is 38 seconds off the lead.
Lap. That's 24 minutes in.
I don't know how well it's going to work for him though, because Aiden Cale, as I just looked over, has just set the fastest lap of the race. He's done a 12.7.
He's got those fresh tyres.
And lower fuel, I think. Yeah, it's surely be lower fuel with
remained.
This one.
Yeah, with this amount left, when they last out to 23 minutes for the first stop, they're not going to be at the same fuel load to start the race. Yeah, Galen, I don't know how Rusty does it. He does some pretty intense fuel saving sometimes. It was the Formula Renault's where he was able to actually not have to going for a fuel stop in the opening round. He's the only driver to do so. I'm pretty sure it was that race. Visma in the pits. Mulford stayed out. It's going to be very interesting to see where they come back on track. Go. Yeah, Rusty doesn't even know how he does it. Just pure natural.
Sorry,
A bit loose there for Kale. And Gander in the pits now. Mulford dives in. Oh, what a fast entry.
You can tell
25 seconds, so that'll be Aiden Kale to take the leagues. It's been on the average about 52 seconds for a pit entry. The stop and pit exit. Staying out a bit longer now to help out. Get a position elsewhere. Nash reclaims P2. This will be Visma. Oh, it's going to be close.
Just makes it in front of him.
Just sneaks in.
It doesn't look like staying out was the wisest choice under current conditions.
Quickly gets around lap traffic. It's Buckland, I think he just got around. Just under 13 minutes left on the clock.
Looking at your live timing screen just here, when the names turn red, does that mean they have an off track? They've just got an off. No, there's an off track down there for Steph Ficali.
Yeah, it'll be when they're we're focused on a car that's actually a lap down. It'll come up similar to like the red names in the relative on iRacing.
Copy.
So we can see all the cars that are now ahead. Only a couple laps down. Oh, sorry, one lap down. At the moment it was Buckland, a couple of laps. Luckhurst and Ewan's a lap down at the moment. Hayes not too far for minute 10.
Visma's last lap was at 112.8, but it's not saying that was his best lap. It's saying his best is still a 113.2, so it must have been an off track on that lap.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, because it didn't come up green. I have my data here, so it's...
But still phenomenal pace from him.
It's a good lap.
But
so I think the fastest lap of the race is still going to Aiden Kale, 12.78.
But Visma and Mulford, I think, looking down, they are the closest two on track, and they're the two fighting for the last spot on the podium as well. So they've got 7 tenths between them. And as I look at it, it just keeps getting further and like closer and closer. So battle definitely heating up between those two.
And Visma qualifying ahead of Mulford. If he can finish ahead here as well, it's going to be a good amount of points to try and play that catch-up game on the series. So yeah, There's Aiden in the WKMP team. Let's get up what his team name is.
Maybe they just... Are you looking at his window banners? Like his windscreen banners there?
I
Because
think
think
if he'd updated SDK. He hasn't put it on SDK by the look of it. He's got the window banner, but that could be from other series requirements.
Yeah, in the East Coast, at least East Coast V8s, they give you those window banners. I think, I'm assuming veterans are the same. He might be in veterans.
If he's half the age of them, I don't think he will be. There we go. He's got team is the Electrical Race on Oz. He's got a pretty solid lead on this race. 9 minutes to go, 6.2 on the clock between himself and Nash in P2. If nothing goes wrong for him here, he's pretty much set himself for a race win.
Mulford's just slowly eking out the lead between him and Bismarck as well. As I say that, the gap goes down a little bit, but it was out to 9/10 as I looked at it last. Something about that gearbox camera that gets me every time. I just lose myself. I just stand and stare at it. It just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I love looking at it.
Great one, just watching him line up behind them. So he's 19. Too many super close gaps. They've all sort of established themselves into their rhythm, and the field got cleansed pretty quick after those first few intense laps.
Noticing Mulford on the slide a little bit. I was just on board with Bismarck looking at him. It looked like he was just losing it through the braking areas.
Heavy front end damage for Coley. Pushing at the tyre wall at the exit of the hairpin. Car seems okay, so it should at least be able to get back to the pits if there's a black flag to contend with. Hopefully it's just a little bit of error and she can continue on for remaining laps.
So how do you know Aiden, JJ? What's he do with himself? Because the cyclist I found was 19 as well, is he the cyclist?
Setting records. Ah, he's his driver coach. There you go.
Can you coach me? What do you do,
Taylor? We'll hit you up. Trying to push this car to chase down Mick Clifton. Clifton's going to be in trouble here now. I think Hyatt came through with some big pace, a little slip up on that line over that curb. passing Clifton some pace. Definitely hasn't rattled him too much.
Everyone actually seems to be going really well. Well, a lot better on track limits than I expected. We've got Scholes, who's got 9. Admittedly, that doesn't look too great. Same with Piccoli. Phil Buckland's got 12. But, I mean, everyone else, 2, 3, 4, 1. Couple of 5s in there. That's not too bad. Like, for a very difficult track.
There's a few tracks going on, but it's not drastic for him, and still only 2 car contacts.
One of them would have been off to start with Visma being stalled. Maybe the other one too, honestly. Between the 2 cars. Is that how that works, or just
surprising didn't see the spin that we saw with Hyde and Rushworth getting caught up in it as being picked up. So maybe have been some netcode and all of that. There's only a few minutes left now.
Racy again.
Yeah, he's closing in pretty quickly. He may just be waiting to pick his moment. Just keep pushing. Put that pressure on him. See if he can force an error. I have noticed Mulford doesn't usually cave into anything. He's usually pretty good at just continuing that line and making his car wide.
Definitely using a lot more road at the moment, isn't he? Going right out to the curb everywhere, whereas Visma's, well, at least in that particular corner, he just gave it 2 car lengths gap to the exit of the track, so maybe he's just, he could be cooling his tires down a little bit as well.
Main focus too, championship-wise, if he's playing a bit of strategy, just to make sure he finishes that spot ahead. Because then it's just not going to be giving any extra gain to try and chase him in the standings.
As we say that though, he's still right up on his gearbox through every braking zone, through all the mid-corner everywhere, so he's definitely not going anywhere, he's applying the pressure. It's not quite showing the mirror anywhere, but he's still right there.
May leave it to a last lap move.
Got Hyde making a move on Clifton as well, just in the background there.
He manages to get the pass. Back and catch the pass here. Nice pass there by Hyde.
That's pretty nifty. You can just skip straight back to when the pass come on. You plan that, or can you? Does your system actually do that?
Yeah, no. The events list, wherever it shows that there's been a pass, I can just click it and it takes us straight to it, which is pretty neat.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I've still got the rewind button set up for everything.
That's what I used to have to do. I used to have to try and scan the lap for a bit. And if you missed it well and truly, you couldn't find it. Yeah, 39.5 minutes. This could be white flag already. Where is he currently situated? No, we're going to get another lap out of this.
I reckon Aero Wash is coming into their battle as well.
Currently 0.85 of a lap. 14 seconds. He can't quite slow up enough to be able to force it to be checkered flag. He's only got 9.5 seconds. It's a white flag out as he crosses the line. starting lap 33. Nash starts his last lap. He's got 9.2 with lap traffic ahead as well. So things are looking spectacular for Kale.
I'm still focused on this Malvern and Bismarck battle though. They're still 3/10 off each other. I reckon Aerowash is coming into this as well because all these corners, bar a few, are just fast-paced one-line corners, so you can't gain an advantage through anything like, well, the same way that you can in street circuits. So you just got to follow and you don't get any clean air in your front end. So I reckon that might be coming into it as well. But in saying that, I mean, Bismarck's last lap was a 13.6 compared to Mulford's 14 dead.
Scholes
Just gets the slide on there.
quickly closing in on Rushworth to have a go on the last lap. Oh, he noses up alongside of him as well. And we got Kale about to cross for the checkered flag. Race win, Aiden Kale. Phenomenal drive. 10-second gap for Nash to jump on the podium in P2. Well done. Mulford able to easily keep off Visma in the end, so it probably was a bit of dirty air and Aerowash in play there. Vanderkran finishes in P5. Aiden 6th, Clifton 7th. Oh, can Rushworth hold him off? Scholes is going to go for a move, but he's gone to the outside. Rushworth covers the in. Holds him at bay to claim 8th with Scholes in 9th. I'm pretty sure Gander's complete. We've got the checkered flag there, so it's just Luckhurst to finish his lap, which is just done so now. So that's all cars crossing the line. Spectacular race from Aiden Kale. It's a huge gap. Some celebratory skids being well earned for him at the end of this 40-minute race.
I reckon many of them will line up and do a drag race on the strip.
They might. That might be some
No,
photos going on.
In.
No drag races. I know they've done that at Winton before. Lined up for a drag race down that centre strip.
Yeah, right.
Take a look at these race results now. And race results for round 8 of the Pagnian Advanced Simulation Supercars Championship at Sonoma Raceway NASCAR Short. Aiden Kale, our race winner. And also on the podium in P2 is David Nash, and then P3, Tim Mulford. And the rest of the standings then: Anthony Visma, Peter Vanderkran, Ricky Hyde, Mick Clifton, Andrew Rushworth, Matthew Scholes, Russell Gander, Brad Hayes, Shane Newens, Stephen Luckhurst, Stephanie Piccoli, Phil Buckland, Tony Phillips, and John Gallen. Let's see if our drivers are keen for a chat. I've got Aiden and Tim in there, so we'll bring them down. And congratulations, guys. A solid win there, Aiden. We gotcha. We got Tim.
Surely you would never hit him, ever.
You there, Aiden?
That's up me, that's for sure.
So we might cross over to Tim. Congratulations, Tim. They're not ready for the chat. I got David as well.
Gents, how are we?
Good, how are you? I was worried that you might have been able to hear us, Aiden and Tim, wasn't able to respond. So we're hoping third time lucky with you. So congratulations out there, David.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was slippery, that track, and Aiden just had pace for days. I just couldn't even get close to him.
Yeah, you're doing well holding on at the start there, and then once he just
Well,
pushed out that gap.
I don't know how I miss Anthony, honestly. I do not know how I missed that. Anyway, we got through it. It's all good.
Yeah, then capitalised on it to be able to push through as well, and then be
Yeah,
able to
no, it was good.
maintain it. It was a great race to see.
Yeah, the tyres were going right off at the end, but anyway, held P3 out, which I wanted to do, so all good.
Yeah, it did well. And was it getting pretty slippery at the end of the second stint, or did it start to?
Second stint
save
was
all
horrible.
right?
Yeah, I pitted right in the middle, so it was just slippery, and I just couldn't hold it. So I lost a few seconds to Tim, but anyway, managed to keep myself there. So it's happy days.
Yeah, well done. Oh, we lost Tim, did we? He's having issues. We got Aiden back, though.
Where is everyone? What's happened to everyone?
No, not sure. So, Tim's come back now. Have we got you now, Tim?
Oh, I think so. I
Yeah.
just was having a heart attack. I was pushing
Yeah.
buttons and nothing was happening. I had to restart.
And I think Aiden's doing the same thing as well. I could hear him dinging before. Can hear the sound effects coming through for you, Aiden, but haven't been able to get your voice. Doesn't look like we got it. At least we got you now, Tim. Well done out there. It looked like it was some pretty tight last laps with Visma closing in on you.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know how. I think I got a net code 4x at the start because I had aero and I just had nothing on the straights. But I didn't realise till I went into the pits and then used a faster pair. And I'm like, that's what it was from.
Ah.
And then yeah, I knew once then it was going to be close. But no, it was a good. But as I said, the goal at the start was just I know I got to worry about Anthony, Scholesy, and I think it was Mike Clifton. So I knew if I could stay in front of them, it's all good, and then it's just damage limitation from there.
Yeah, and then it got all pretty sketchy at start there with the stall from Visma. He dropped right back down. Now, I think there was some contact with someone at the start of it.
Definitely
It might have
tagged
been
him
with
as I went
you.
around him. Yeah, I definitely tagged him as I went around him. I think I just got his rear bar. Because by the time, like, Nashi avoided him, and then I'm like, oh, there's a car there. I just tagged him, and then that sort of chocked all of us up behind. But we all survived somehow.
Yeah, he did well, because it's only my car contact detection has only just picked up contact between yourself and Visma, so it must have been that race start. So that early damage. Was the car not performing well with the knock at the start there, or?
Yeah, I had nothing on the straights. Sort of once I sort of got out, I was fine all right through the corners. There was no steering damage, but there must have been a bit of aero on the straight. So, and with the two long straights there, you lose a lot of time. So I knew I wasn't going to catch Dave or Aiden, so I thought just stay in front of the other three and then just keep going.
Yeah, play that championship strategy.
Get to the final race and be able to just have some fun and see what happens.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and arrive and drive and take the win would be nice.
Just Stecky from last year, just chill out for the last race.
Up on the door sill and just take it easy. And have we got Aiden working yet? I don't think we're going to get Aiden, unfortunately. But, yeah, but big congratulations to yourself, Tim, and then also you, David, jumping on the podium for P2. It was,
Yeah, thanks, gents.
great watching us out there. It looked like it was a whole lot of fun, and we were discussing about the track limits, and we're noticing that you could be able to take a fair bit around Sonoma, and then potentially the NASCAR rulings coming into play for track limits. Did you just get stung with anything out there?
I got a couple on turn 1. I think you can cut a little bit there. That's about it. Other than that, I was just trying to keep it off that big curve down the back. That's all.
Yeah, I
Yourself,
was
Jim?
pushing towards the end. Once Bismarck was catching me, I pushed a bit and used a bit more than I should have on the as you come around that fast right-hander before the pit entry. So I was taking that, but the rest of the track's pretty good.
that's good. Especially with those track temperatures, they didn't want to drop down at all once the clouds disappeared. It stayed at the 36 degrees in the end. I think the race started at just over 37 degrees. So it's going to be interesting seeing when you're going to come in for the fuel, whether you're going to take that earlier stop yourself. You pushed out. I think there was nearly 24 minutes before coming in for that first stop.
Yeah, I didn't want to get stuck in traffic, so I just sort of held back a bit. I said I knew I wasn't going to catch Dave or Aiden, so I just held back a little bit, put a little bit of extra fuel in just so I could still come out in front of Anthony and then not have to worry about fuel and just go for it till the end.
Yep, definitely paid off to be able to maintain that podium position and be able to extend that championship lead a little bit more.
Every point counts. All it takes is one bad race and it could make it real interesting. Like if I had a DNF tonight and Anthony able to finish P3, it would have made it very interesting.
Yeah, it would have balanced things out very quick. But well done, guys. And then you just want to do your shout outs as well, and you were at P2, David, if you want to.
Yeah, sweet. Just Phoenix Radiators in New Zealand, Bliss Homes, and just the boys over at 801. We're pretty new, so yeah, we're slowly getting there. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and over to you, Tim.
Yeah, the usual guys: Melbourne Hydrographics Depot, Hybrid Race Simulations, Prestige Cinematography, RMX Australia at Heatherton, DHF Tyres, RSW Graphics, Bubbles and Balloons, and of course Phoenix Driver Development for all the setups.
Excellent. Well done, guys. All the best of luck with next week. It's going to be an interesting one at Suzuka. But at least those track temperatures are going to be probably much nicer conditions to be out in.
All good. Thanks, gents.
No worries.
See you later.
See yous.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Looking forward to next week.
See you then. There we have our podium finishes. With not being able to get the mic working for Aiden, we had David in P2 and Tim in P3. And thanks again, Ryan, for joining us. It was a great night of racing for us to sit there and yabber over.
Yeah, it definitely was. Thanks again for having me.
No problem. Look forward to having you with me again next week.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Perfect. We'll see you then.
Catch ya.
And there, Ryan Carlson co-commentating with us for tonight yet again. And then that is it for round 8 of the Pagnian Advanced Simulation Supercars Championship. And then we will be back again same time next week for round 9, and that sees us at Suzuka International Racing Course Grand Prix. So it's going to be a great one to see. It's going to be some very fast sections and some very tricky technical corners. Majority of them are all that way, so you don't want to be missing that one. Hit the follow button if you haven't done so already, so you can be notified when we go live, and it'd be great if you can help us try and claim that next milestone. We're trying to get to 380 followers on Twitch. And you can also always jump on to our YouTube channel and check out all our past broadcasts. Once they've been live, we will archive them over onto YouTube, so you can go back and check out all our previous series that we have broadcast. And thank you once again for tuning in, and also a big thank you to all our incredible sponsors and partners for Apex Esports League, and that's Pagnian Advanced Simulation, Next Level Racing, Dubby, Fanatec, Stump Grinding, Central Coast, Razor, and Chubby Buns Burgers. Thanks for joining us tonight, and hope to see you trackside next week.